Welcome to our world of discovery and adventure. This channel is all about exploring the unknown, explaining the incredible, and revealing the truth behind the most fascinating topics on Earth. If you love learning something new every day, you're in the right place. Now we explore, explain, the secret of Mount Olympus, home of the Greek gods. Welcome to the timeless world of Mount Olympus, the mythical home of the Greek gods, where clouds gather around eternal peaks and lightning speaks the language of the divine. For thousands of years, this mountain has stood as a bridge between the heavens and the earth, a symbol of power, creation, and mystery. To the ancient Greeks, Olympus was not just a mountain, it was the throne of the universe, the radiant kingdom from which Zeus and his divine family ruled both gods and mortals alike. The mountain's peak, always shrouded in mist, seemed to touch the very sky, and it was said that no mortal could ever set foot upon it. Olympus was a sacred realm that separated immortality from mortality, the place where divine justice was born. Mount Olympus rises nearly 10,000 feet above sea level, the tallest peak in Greece, standing between Thessaly and Macedonia. The Greeks looked upon its towering form with reverence, believing it to be the true seat of heaven. They imagined its summit as a paradise, hidden by clouds and untouched by snow or rain. The sunlight there was said to be eternal, bathing golden palaces and marble halls in an everlasting glow. The gods feasted there upon ambrosia, the food of immortality, and drank nectar that gave them divine strength. The winds were gentle, the air fragrant, and the sound of music from the muses filled the sky. To mortals below, Olympus appeared mysterious and unreachable, a realm of perfection where the divine laws of the cosmos were made. But the story of Olympus begins long before the reign of Zeus or the birth of the Olympian gods. In the beginning, there was only chaos, a boundless void, silent and empty, without shape or direction. From this darkness emerged Gaia, the earth, the great mother of all creation. From her came Uranus, the sky, who became her companion and husband. Together, they produced the first beings of power, the Titans, vast and mighty forces who embodied the elements of nature itself. Among them were Oceanus, who ruled the waters that encircled the world, Hyperion, who brought the sun, Iapetus, the father of Prometheus, and Cronus, the youngest but most cunning of them all. Under the rule of Uranus, the Titans multiplied, but his tyranny grew unbearable. He feared his own children, and in his fear, he cast some of them into the depths of Tartarus, the dark abyss beneath the earth. Gaia's heart was broken by this cruelty, and she turned to her son Cronus, giving him a weapon forged of adamantine to overthrow his father. One night, when Uranus descended to lie with Gaia, Cronus struck, slicing the sky from the earth and taking his father's throne. From Uranus's spilled blood were born the giants, the Furies, and the goddess of love, Aphrodite, who rose from the sea foam. Cronus became ruler of the cosmos, bringing an age of peace known as the Golden Age. Yet his heart was haunted by prophecy, a warning that one of his own children would one day overthrow him just as he had done to his father. To prevent this fate, Cronus devoured each of his children as they were born, swallowing them whole. Rhea, his wife and sister, watched in grief as her children, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, vanished into the darkness of his stomach. When her sixth child was born, she could bear it no longer. On the island of Crete, she gave birth to Zeus and hid him away, wrapping a stone in cloth and presenting it to Cronus. The Titan swallowed the stone, believing he had consumed his final threat. As Zeus grew in secret, the nymphs of Crete raised him with honey and goat's milk, while warriors known as the Curates danced and clashed their spears to drown out his cries. When he came of age, Zeus sought the wisdom of the goddess Metis, who prepared a potion to make Cronus vomit up his swallowed children.
One by one, the gods emerged, fully grown and furious. United under Zeus's leadership, they declared war upon the Titans. The earth shook, the seas roared, and the skies blazed with thunder. This war, known as the Titanomachy, lasted for 10 years, with the Olympians fighting from Mount Olympus and the Titans from Mount Othrys. The heavens were torn apart by storms, and the cries of battle echoed through creation. Zeus hurled lightning forged by the Cyclopes, Poseidon raised tsunamis that drowned mountains, and Hades unleashed shadows that consumed the light. The Titans fought fiercely, but their strength waned before the unity of the new gods. In the end, Zeus triumphed. The Titans were defeated and cast into Tartarus, where the Hecatonchires, the hundred-handed giants, became their eternal jailers. With victory won, Zeus divided the world among his brothers. He took the heavens as his domain, ruling with thunder and law. Poseidon claimed the seas, commanding waves and storms. Hades descended to the underworld, ruling the realm of the dead in solemn authority. Thus began the age of the Olympians. Upon Mount Olympus, Zeus built a palace of light and power. Hephaestus, the god of fire and craft, forged the shining halls, the golden thrones, and the gates that guarded paradise. Around Zeus gathered the other deities who would become known as the 12 Olympians, each embodying a force of nature or aspect of existence. There, in eternal harmony and endless debate, they watched over the world below, guiding and judging the actions of mankind. Life on Olympus was one of divine grandeur. The gods feasted on ambrosia and drank nectar while the muses filled the air with music. From this heavenly court, decisions were made that shaped the destiny of mortals and kingdoms alike. The seasons turned according to Demeter's will, the seas rose and fell by Poseidon's temper, and the sky shone with Zeus's approval. The mountain was alive with divine energy, not merely a place, but a living symbol of order and power. Olympus represented balance in the cosmos, the harmony between the divine and mortal worlds. Yet within this harmony lay tension, for the gods, though immortal, were far from perfect. Their passions and rivalries mirrored the very flaws of humanity. They loved, hated, and envied each other. They quarreled over power and meddled in human lives, shaping myths that would endure for eternity. Zeus, the ruler of the skies, was both wise and flawed. He sought to maintain justice, but his heart was often swayed by desire. His love for mortal women and goddesses alike brought forth demigods and heroes who would forever alter the world. Hera, his queen, was majestic and proud, the goddess of marriage and protector of women. Yet her rage against Zeus's lovers and children became legend, turning mortals like Io and Heracles into victims of divine wrath. Poseidon, lord of the seas, was tempestuous and unpredictable. He could raise cities from the waves or destroy them in an instant. His moods mirrored the ocean, calm and life-giving one moment, destructive the next. Hades, though feared, was a god of solemn dignity, ruling over the dead with fairness rather than cruelty. His kingdom beneath the earth was not a place of torment, but a realm of eternal rest and reflection.
Among the other gods of Olympus, each played a vital role in maintaining cosmic balance. Athena, born from Zeus's forehead in a blaze of light, became the embodiment of wisdom and strategy. Apollo, the radiant god of the sun, music and prophecy, brought light and inspiration to humanity. Artemis, his twin sister, ruled over the moon and wilderness, guarding both beasts and women. Ares embodied the violence of war, while Aphrodite represented love and beauty, two forces forever intertwined in both peace and chaos. Hermes, the swift messenger, connected Olympus with the mortal world, carrying commands and secrets between realms. Hestia tended the sacred fire, symbolizing the warmth of home and hearth. Each god was immortal, yet each carried human-like emotions that made them both powerful and vulnerable. From their golden thrones, the gods watched the mortal world unfold beneath them. They intervened in wars, guided heroes, and punished arrogance. They demanded respect and offerings, yet they also bestowed blessings upon those who honored them. In every temple and altar across Greece, people felt the presence of Olympus, in the thunder that rolled across the sky, in the sea that raged against the shore, and in the harvest that blessed the earth.
The mountain itself became the axis of Greek religion, connecting heaven, earth, and the underworld. It represented divine order and the fragile line between humanity and divinity. To offend the gods was to invite destruction, but to honor them was to find harmony in a world governed by forces beyond mortal understanding. As centuries passed, the myths of Olympus shaped the soul of Greek civilization. Artists carved marble statues of Zeus and Athena that stood taller than men. Poets sang of divine wars and mortal heroes touched by the favor or fury of the gods. Philosophers saw in Olympus not merely a home of deities, but a metaphor for the hierarchy of existence, the idea that reason and justice must rule over chaos and desire. Mount Olympus became both a physical and spiritual ideal, representing the highest state of being, the unreachable summit where perfection dwelled. Even when faith in the old gods began to fade, Olympus endured as a symbol of greatness, forever reminding humanity of its yearning to reach higher, to understand the divine within itself. And though time has changed the beliefs of men, the mountain still stands, veiled in mist, untouched by centuries. Its peaks still pierce the clouds, and its silence still carries the whispers of ancient legends. To stand before Mount Olympus even today is to feel the weight of history, the echo of thunder that once marked the voice of Zeus, and the invisible presence of gods who once ruled both the heavens and the hearts of mortals. Olympus remains eternal, not merely in stone and air, but in myth, imagination, and the timeless desire of humanity to find meaning beyond the mortal world.
Mount Olympus stood eternal in its brilliance, bathed in golden light and perfumed with the sweet scent of ambrosia. Here the gods of Greece reigned, beings of unimaginable power who governed the cosmos with their will. Yet their world, though divine, was not without turmoil. Olympus was both paradise and battleground, a place where immortality could not escape emotion, and perfection was continually tested by passion, envy, and pride. Life upon Olympus mirrored humanity's own struggles, but magnified to cosmic scale. Love that shook the heavens, anger that split the earth, and jealousy that ignited wars among gods and mortals alike. Each morning on Olympus began with radiance as Eos, the dawn goddess, spread her rosy fingers across the sky, awakening both mortals and immortals. The halls of Olympus shimmered with light as Zeus sat upon his towering throne, the master of lightning, justice, and destiny. From his golden seat, he observed the world below, listening to prayers, weighing the fates of kings and beggars, and deciding the outcome of wars that raged on earth. Yet for all his power, Zeus's heart was far from tranquil. His desires often led him into the realm of mortals, where he took many forms, a swan, a bull, a shower of golden rain, to woo mortal women and father demigods whose destinies shaped myth and history alike. His infidelities enraged Hera, his queen, whose dignity was matched only by her vengeance. Hera's jealousy burned brighter than any flame of Olympus, and though she remained the goddess of marriage and motherhood, her love often transformed into wrath that struck both gods and humans. Many tales of Greek mythology carry the echo of her fury: the suffering of Io, the trials of Heracles, and the downfall of countless women caught in Zeus's gaze. Beneath the ruling pair, the divine family of Olympus flourished with a hierarchy of power and personality. Poseidon, god of the sea, ruled the vast oceans and commanded storms that could destroy fleets or bring calm to fishermen. Though he dwelled beneath the waves, his temper was felt even on Olympus. He was proud, impulsive, and often at odds with Zeus, his elder brother. Their rivalry was legendary, yet their bond remained unbroken when facing threats to divine order. Hades, the third brother, seldom came to Olympus. He ruled the underworld in shadows, governing the realm of the dead with a stern but fair hand. Unlike the fiery chaos of Tartarus, Hades' kingdom was one of quiet sorrow, where souls waited for eternity.
Though feared by mortals, he was not evil, only inevitable. When he did appear on Olympus, the atmosphere grew still, for his presence reminded all of the fragile boundary between life and death. Among the next generation of gods, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, shone brightest. Born fully grown and armored from Zeus's forehead, she embodied both intellect and strategy. Unlike Ares, the god of brutal warfare, Athena's strength lay in reason and justice. She became a protector of cities, a patron of heroes, and a symbol of enlightenment. Her wisdom was revered, but her calm demeanor often stood in contrast to the impulsive passions of her divine kin. In many tales, Athena's guidance shaped the fate of mortals, from aiding Odysseus in his long voyage home to granting Perseus the courage to slay Medusa. Her voice was often the counsel of reason amid the chaos of Olympus.
Ares, by contrast, represented the raw, violent nature of war. His rage was uncontrollable, his thirst for blood unmatched. Though feared, he was seldom respected even among his own kind. Zeus considered him reckless, and Athena often countered his destruction with discipline. Yet, war was necessary, and so Ares had his place. His presence on Olympus symbolized the unavoidable conflict in existence, the eternal struggle between creation and destruction, peace and chaos. Amid the might and fury of these deities, there were gentler spirits who balanced Olympus with grace and beauty. Aphrodite, born from the sea foam, enchanted gods and mortals alike with her radiance. She represented not only physical love, but also the deep longing that binds souls together. Her influence could melt even the hardest hearts, yet her gifts often came with turmoil. Through her, Paris fell for Helen, igniting the Trojan War. Through her jealousy, Psyche was tested through endless trials. Love, as embodied by Aphrodite, was both divine and dangerous, a power that even Zeus respected. Hermes, the swift messenger of the gods, flitted between Olympus, Earth, and the underworld with effortless grace. He carried Zeus's commands, guided lost souls, and stole whenever curiosity struck him. Clever, mischievous, and eternally youthful, Hermes symbolized movement and transition between worlds, between mortals and gods, between truth and deception. He was the protector of travelers, merchants, and thieves, embodying the restless energy that kept Olympus connected to the mortal realm. His laughter often echoed through the halls, reminding the solemn gods of their own need for joy and cunning. Apollo and Artemis, the divine twins, represented the sun and the moon, light and shadow, logic and instinct. Apollo was the god of light, prophecy, music, and healing, a symbol of harmony and civilization. His temple at Delphi became the heart of ancient Greek spirituality, where mortals sought the words of the oracle that spoke his will. Artemis, his sister, was wild and free, the goddess of the hunt, protector of women, and embodiment of nature's independence. Together, they balanced each other, one shining with order and art, the other glowing with instinct and solitude. Their presence on Olympus was a reminder that the world was sustained by equilibrium, that beauty and wilderness must coexist. Life on Mount Olympus was eternal, yet never still. The gods held feasts that lasted days, where laughter and debate filled the air. Muses sang of creation, nymphs danced across the marble floors, and ambrosia flowed like rivers of gold. Yet beneath the joy, tension often stirred. The gods could not die, but their pride could wound them. Each had their own ambitions, and divine politics often shaped the destinies of both heaven and earth. When Zeus's authority was questioned, rebellion threatened the golden halls. The most famous uprising came from within. Hera, Poseidon, and Athena once conspired to overthrow him, chaining him in his own palace. But the plan failed when Thetis, a sea nymph, brought Briareus, a 100-handed giant, to free Zeus. In his fury, he hurled lightning that shook the mountain, reasserting his rule and reminding all of Olympus that defiance came at a price.
Even when peace returned, the gods' interference in human affairs never ceased. They competed for worship, favor, and influence,
Cities built temples to their chosen deities, and each god sought to prove their superiority through mortal devotion. Athena's rivalry with Poseidon over the city of Athens is a perfect example. When the people were asked to choose between them, Poseidon struck the ground and produced a saltwater spring, symbolizing power of the sea, while Athena offered the olive tree, symbolizing peace and prosperity. The people chose her gift, and the city was named Athens, forever bearing her mark. Poseidon's pride was wounded, but divine grudges never truly healed. They only slept. The gods' emotional conflicts often spilled into the mortal world. The Trojan War itself was born of divine jealousy. When Eris, the goddess of discord, was not invited to a divine wedding, she threw a golden apple marked "to the fairest" among the goddesses. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite each claimed it, and when asked to judge, the mortal prince Paris awarded the apple to Aphrodite, who promised him the love of Helen, the most beautiful woman on earth. This single decision, driven by vanity and desire, unleashed a decade of bloodshed and tragedy. From Olympus, the gods took sides, manipulating mortal fate as though it were a game. Zeus watched with indifference, Hera plotted revenge, Athena guided heroes, and Ares reveled in chaos. The War of Troy became the stage upon which divine ego and mortal valor intertwined, showing that even the mightiest of gods could be bound by emotion. For all their flaws, the gods of Olympus remained the foundation of Greek understanding of existence. They were not distant creators, but participants in the ongoing drama of life. Their loves, rivalries, and decisions shaped the destiny of nations and souls. Through them, the Greeks explained the unpredictable nature of the world, the storms that came without warning, the beauty that faded too soon, the courage that rose in despair. Olympus was a mirror held up to humanity, reflecting both its glory and its weakness. And yet, beneath all their grandeur, there was an unspoken truth. Even the immortals feared fate, the Morai, or fates, who spun, measured, and cut the thread of every life. Not even Zeus could defy them completely. This realization humbled even the most powerful gods, reminding them that though they sat on Olympus, they too were bound by the laws of the cosmos. The fates stood beyond time and divine will, ensuring that balance would always return no matter how great the conflict. As centuries passed and mortals built temples, wrote hymns, and offered sacrifices, Olympus remained untouched by decay. It was the ultimate symbol of divine permanence. Yet the stories of the gods began to evolve. Philosophers reinterpreted them, poets humanized them, and artists immortalized them in marble and paint. Through myth, the mountain became eternal, not as a place, but as an idea, a timeless reflection of humankind's search for meaning in the mysteries of existence. Olympus was no longer just the home of the gods. It was the summit of imagination, where belief met beauty and where humanity reached beyond its mortal bounds.
As the legends of Mount Olympus reached their final chapter, the mountain itself became more than just a mythical home of the gods. It evolved into a timeless symbol of power, divinity, and human aspiration. The ancient Greeks may have crafted these stories thousands of years ago, yet their essence continues to shape art, philosophy, and modern thought. In this final section, we dive deeper into how Mount Olympus's myths transitioned from ancient religion to enduring cultural legacy, exploring its symbolism, philosophical interpretations, and lasting influence on Western civilization. Mount Olympus stood as the bridge between heaven and earth. To the Greeks, the mountain's high peaks, perpetually shrouded in clouds, represented the invisible boundary between the mortal and divine. It was said that the summit of Olympus never knew snow or rain, but rather basked in eternal sunlight, a reflection of divine perfection. While ancient travelers could physically climb the mountain, mythologically it was unreachable. Only those chosen by destiny or born from divine lineage could step upon its sacred ground. This belief reinforced the separation between gods and mortals, a reminder of the cosmic hierarchy that defined Greek thought. Over time, however, Greek philosophers began to reinterpret Olympus not merely as a physical location, but as a metaphor for higher consciousness and enlightenment. Thinkers like Plato and Pythagoras explored the idea that the divine realm represented a state of inner perfection rather than a literal mountain in the clouds. Plato's world of forms closely mirrored this concept, the belief that perfection existed beyond human perception, just as Olympus lay beyond mortal reach. The mountain thus transformed from a religious myth into a philosophical symbol, the eternal pursuit of knowledge, virtue, and divine truth. In ancient Greece, temples dedicated to the Olympian gods appeared across the land. The most famous of these, the Parthenon, honored Athena, the goddess of wisdom, whose spirit symbolized balance between intellect and strength. These temples were not merely religious centers. They were the beating hearts of Greek civilization, where art, politics, and spirituality converged. The architecture itself reflected the principles of divine order, perfect symmetry, proportion, and harmony, mirroring the belief that the gods' realm was a model of balance. Mount Olympus, unseen but ever present, served as the invisible inspiration behind these masterpieces. Olympus was also central to Greek theater, where myths were brought to life in grand tragedies and comedies. Playwrights like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides used the gods of Olympus as reflections of human nature, powerful, flawed, and deeply emotional. Through their plays, Zeus became a symbol of justice and tyranny, Hera of jealousy and loyalty, Apollo of reason and art, and Dionysus of chaos and liberation. The stage became the mirror of Olympus, where divine dramas unfolded through human voices. These performances did not simply entertain, they explored the eternal questions of morality, destiny, and the limits of human freedom.
When Greek civilization eventually gave way to Roman power, Mount Olympus and its pantheon underwent a transformation. The Romans adopted the gods and gave them Latin names. Zeus became Jupiter, Hera became Juno, Aphrodite became Venus, and so on. Though renamed, the essence of their mythology endured. The stories of Olympus merged with Roman ideals, blending divine authority with imperial power. Emperors were often compared to Olympian gods, portraying themselves as chosen by the heavens to rule. Thus, Olympus lived on, not as a distant myth, but as a political and cultural tool woven into the identity of empire. As Christianity began to spread across the Mediterranean, Olympus gradually lost its role as a religious symbol, yet its stories never vanished. The early Christian writers, while condemning pagan gods as false idols, often drew upon mythological language to express divine mystery. The Olympian imagery, lightning, clouds, and celestial thrones, was transformed into the Christian imagination of heaven and divine majesty. Even as the temples of Zeus crumbled, the mountain itself remained, silent and enduring, watching over the changing beliefs of humanity. During the Renaissance, Europe rediscovered the myths of Olympus with renewed passion. Artists, sculptors, and poets turned to Greek mythology as a wellspring of inspiration. Michelangelo, Botticelli, and Raphael infused their masterpieces with Olympian grandeur, depicting gods not as distant beings, but as reflections of ideal human form and beauty. Writers such as Dante and Milton reinterpreted Olympus-like imagery to explore heaven, hell, and divine justice. In this era, Olympus once again became a symbol of the human soul's ascent toward perfection, beauty, and divine knowledge. In modern times, Mount Olympus continues to capture the imagination of storytellers and philosophers alike. It stands not just as a geographical landmark in northern Greece, but as a timeless metaphor for the human spirit's quest for greatness. Whether in literature, film, or philosophy, the idea of Olympus remains alive, representing the summit of human ambition and the eternal tension between power and morality. Movies, novels, and even video games resurrect the gods in modern forms, showing that while civilizations change, the myths that shape them endure in new languages and new worlds. Mount Olympus also invites scientific curiosity.
As climbers and explorers ascended its peaks in the modern era, they discovered not divine palaces, but natural beauty beyond imagination. The breathtaking views and rare ecosystems reinforce the idea that Olympus, though not inhabited by gods, is sacred in another sense, a testament to nature's grandeur. The mountain remains a UNESCO-protected site today, symbolizing humanity's respect for both myth and the natural world. For modern visitors, standing atop its summit is not merely a physical triumph, but a spiritual connection to centuries of belief and storytelling.
Philosophically, Olympus teaches humanity about balance, the harmony between ambition and humility, knowledge and faith, mortality and eternity. The gods of Olympus, though divine, displayed human flaws, reminding us that perfection is not the absence of weakness, but the courage to rise above it. Zeus's temper, Hera's jealousy, and Apollo's pride mirror our own struggles, making Olympus less about unreachable perfection and more about the continuous journey toward it. Each myth from the mountain serves as an allegory for the human condition, powerful yet fragile, wise yet fallible, eternal yet fleeting. Even today, the name Olympus carries a powerful resonance. It represents excellence, achievement, and transcendence. The Olympic Games, revived in modern times, draw directly from this legacy, symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit. Athletes strive for greatness in the shadow of an ancient ideal born from Mount Olympus, to push beyond mortal limits and touch the divine through human effort. Thus, the mountain spirit continues to guide modern humanity, not through thunderbolts or divine decrees, but through the fire of ambition and the will to excel. Ultimately, the true secret of Mount Olympus lies not in its myths, but in what those myths reveal about humanity itself. The gods may have been imagined, but the values they embodied, justice, love, courage, and wisdom, remain profoundly real. Olympus teaches that even if the divine is beyond reach, the pursuit of it gives meaning to life. The mountain's legends are not about the gods above, but about the humans below who dreamed of them, shaping civilizations, art, and the very idea of destiny. Mount Olympus endures not because it houses the gods, but because it symbolizes the eternal human longing for something higher, greater, and purer than ourselves. It is a mountain we climb in every age, through science, art, and spirit, seeking to understand our place in the cosmos. From the myths of Zeus to the philosophy of Plato, from the temples of Athens to the libraries of today, Olympus remains humanity's highest mirror, reflecting both our divine aspirations and mortal limitations. And so, even as time erases empires and faiths evolve, Mount Olympus stands unshaken, a monument to human imagination. The clouds still gather around its peaks, whispering ancient names: Zeus, Hera, Athena, Apollo. They may no longer command storms or fate, but they live on in every story told, every mountain climbed, and every dream of transcendence. The true home of the gods, after all, is not upon the mountain itself, but within the human soul that dares to imagine them.